Hello and welcome to a shitty July 2nd here in the United States of America. How long will that last? Who knows? But we're not going to talk about that. No, we're not going to talk about July. No, we're not going to talk about July at all. Um, for those who don't know, the big announcement by the Supreme Court, which basically fucks the United States in the ass, was announced on Canada Day of all day, a holiday for Canadians who have independence from their queen, king, whatever, but still follow them. And the United States basically got a king again. But we're not going to talk about that. No, we're not going to talk about July. We're not going to talk about July at all. I may save that because this isn't the only thing that we need to talk politics about. I have a whole lot of stuff I want to talk about politics about. And since it is potentially the final July 4th we're ever going to celebrate, the final Independence Day we're ever going to celebrate, maybe I should wait and talk about that on its own. So maybe I might be doing my own show about politics on July 4th to just release all that pent up anger, frustration, and pain that I'm suffering through right now. But we're not going to talk about July. No, we're not going to talk about July at all. As a matter of fact, but July did come in with a thud. And yes, but we're not going to talk about that. So what actually did go on that we can talk about? Well, the reason why it is Tuesday, July 2nd, the day that the aliens arrived from Independence Day and then destroyed the White House and Empire State Building and a whole bunch of other stuff and basically destroyed America, which is basically what happened on July 1st, but that's besides the point. Anyway, that happened. It also was Pickett's Charge, one of the most impressive maneuvers during the Civil War and during the Battle of Gettysburg occurred on this day also. It is also 2 days before our final Independence Day, potentially, and also 1 day before the 20th anniversary of living in this glorious house, which I absolutely do adore and love. I love the area. I love the house. It can be frustrating being a homeowner, but I love this house and I love this area. And we've been here 20 years as of July 3rd. What else? Why am I doing it on a Tuesday, July 2nd? Well, Saturday, June 29th was my cousin Liz's wedding. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I also got my daughter, did the wedding, and then everything else. And then Sunday, I had to take my daughter up to camp. And then what else? Oh, and then we had a party at my Uncle Philip's house, who is the father of the bride, for our 4th of July party before the end of the America happened. It happened on June 30th, so everything was looking bright and cheery then, not so much now. And then the thing that came, so by the time I was done, it was like, I don't feel like doing anything. And I just did the research, but I was like, I really don't feel like doing it because I was tired and had to go back to work after my mini vacation. And then yesterday, because of what happened that destroyed our country, because of the illegitimate Supreme Court, the traitorous, filthy, awful Supreme Court. Well, 6 of the 9, 3 of them are actually pretty awesome, but 6 suck ass and can suck my ass. But that's besides the point. Potentially said we'll get into that potentially on July 4th. Which would be appropriate, wouldn't you think? Anyway, so I didn't feel like doing it yesterday because I hadn't played Fortnite in a while, and I wanted to play that, and I was just so bent up with stuff. So I do have some stuff from the first on my list for this week, but not a lot because I figured I should save some and stuff that happened today that wasn't that shit show in the Supreme Court for our show this weekend. This weekend should be a normal one. There's nothing really exciting going on. I have a 4-day weekend, which is outstanding. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably into it on Saturday as usual. This is the 3rd and final Mountain Dew I have not tried. The other 2, I like the one that is all 50 flavors. That actually tastes more like the Bomb Pop Mountain Dew than the Bomb Pop Mountain Dew we had last year. It's actually brilliant. The red berry one is okay, but it's not great. I'm not a big peach fan, but I figured lemonade might help out with that. So we'll find out. We're going to try some Freedom Fusion, which is a fucking joke now, considering what that fucking illegitimate Supreme Court did. Oh, my God. Ugh, I'm not a big peach fan, and it is peach incensed. Here we go. No. I'll finish it, but no, I'm not a big peach fan, and the lemonade is very minimal, if at all, in there. Peach is so overwhelming. If you like peach, you're gonna love this soda. This is a brilliant soda because it's got the strong peach, and then you got the maybe not after, the side flavor of lemonade in there. It's brilliant. Stick to, if you don't like peach, stick to, I can't remember what it's called, but the one that is the 50 flavors of Mountain Dew, which is the blue color. And then the red one's okay. I really, really like the blue one a lot, though. Let me see if I can maybe get the names of it so I can get this, the appropriate people. But yes, if you are a peach fan, then definitely go for this. I am not a peach fan. And then, as I said, the lemonade is there, but it's very not there. Liberty Chill, that's the one. That's the good one. That's the one. That's the 50 flavors of Dew. Liberty Chill is definitely a good one to go after. Star Spangled Splash is okay. That's the red berry one. And this shitty Freedom Fusion is disgusting because it's peach, and I'm not a peach, so peach fan. So I will finish it, but I'm not going to be a big fan of it. But as I said, very peach with a little bit of a lemonade side to it. And that peach is strong. But yeah, you know what? They're saying the lemonade is, no, you need to know what to look for. There is a lemonade flavor in there, so you can get it. But yes, the blue one I just mentioned, forgot the name of it now, is the best one. So for your 4th of July, Liberty Chill. Yes, for your 4th of July, last 4th of July, you're going to probably have Liberty Chill is the best one right now, in my opinion. The Star Spangled Splash is okay also. It's a red berry flavor that just sort of tastes like cherry Mountain Dew. It doesn't really have any like a raspberry or strawberry, any other flavor thing, which they probably should because it's a red berry, but whatever. So let's just get into it right now. So my cousin Liz got married on Saturday, the 29th. I had to go up on the 28th, that Friday, to pick up my son and get my daughter's clothes to clean because she can only come back on Saturday, and then we have to go back up on Sunday. And since she had to stay up on Saturday since she got promoted to director of her department, she has to stay for the director's meetings. Now, we were going to bring her home early on Friday so she'd get a little extra rest, but we couldn't. So my wife and daughter did not actually get home until 1 o'clock on Saturday. The wedding is at 5:30, so they only had about 3.5 hours before we had to move to get driving. So I was trying to figure out how we're going to do it. It's a 5:30 to 10:30 wedding, and then 10:30 till 1:30 they were going to do an after party. We were not going to do that since Noel had to go back up to camp. So it's the place where the wedding venue is literally behind the Ravens Stadium and the casino that's downtown. And also happened to be the Orioles were in town and were having a night game on Saturday, just as the wedding was happening as well. And the area where the wedding is also a huge area for parking for the Orioles games. So we had all that thrown together. It was a hot, steamy, shitty mess. And so we decided, but there was one option we could take. We could go to the hotel everybody was staying at. They were going to take a bus over from the hotel to the venue and then the venue back to the hotel. But the first bus was not going to leave till 9:30. And I think I wanted to try to get home earlier than that for my daughter's sake. So we ended up driving down to the venue itself. So put on GPS. It's pretty self-explanatory till we get onto Russell Street. And it's big backup on Russell Street because there's a light at the bottom of the exit, and you've got two lanes converging at it. So you have all the Orioles people, you've got just downtown people in general, and you've got the wedding people going there. So the GPS takes us into this back little area, and then it says to turn right. But there's nothing to the right except a parking lot for the Orioles and what looks out to be an abandoned, burned out sort of warehouse. So it was on Austin Street, which is right where we were. So I was trying to, it was like 333 Austin Street. So I was trying to find 333, went down the wrong way, went back this way, had to go back. And the GPS told me, do this, and kept coming us back this one point. I'm like, what the hell? There's nothing here except Orioles parking. Are we supposed to just park and find our way? I don't know. I've never seen the venue before. And there was no sign that had the name of the place on it anywhere. So we go back around again. I'm getting frustrated because we had to be there by 5:15. And so we left at like 4:15. So figured, it should take us only half hour to get down there, but a little extra time in case we get lost. Yeah, we got lost. So it was about 5:10 when I'm turning and I see my nephew and his girlfriend walking towards us. I was like, what? They had parked elsewhere and were walking towards us. So I was like, okay, so it must be on the right path. So I get back onto Austin Street and I'm heading down and I turn over where the parking lot was that we've been circling that has the Orioles parking and the burned out warehouse. And I see people dressed up in blazers, suits, and fancy dresses, their hair done. And I look over at the burned out warehouse and people are going inside it. I was like, son of a bitch. You fucking kidding me? So we go down and we turn to where the parking entrance was, and there's the sign for the place on the parking sign that's about this big. And we're like, oh God. So we pull in and we walk in, and it's a really nice interior of the warehouse, but it's in the fucking most worst place in the city. And it had no signage and is impossible. If you did not know what you're looking for, it looked like it was just an abandoned warehouse, which is all over the fucking place in downtown Baltimore. So, and then it was Orioles parking right next to it. So we had parking for the facility, which they were only letting us into. And then they were letting the Orioles parkers on the other side. So we finally got there. We got in on time and it was okay. There was some drama. The food was okay. The ceremony was really nice and stuff like that. But I was just still frustrated from stuff and trying to figure out how we're going to get everything done. And but the thing is, I got to see cousins I haven't seen in 30 plus years, talked to a few of them, but barely talked to any of them really. And just sort of got together. And it was just okay. I'm sorry, Liz, it just was. And then we had to leave in the middle of the party because the party didn't really start getting kicked until about 9:00. And we had to get going because Joelle had to get up at 9, like literally 12 hours later. And she hadn't really had a chance to rest or sleep up yet. And neither did my wife because she had just gotten back also. So we left. And as we were leaving, lightning was storming through the sky. So as we were driving back home, we were able to get out easier. The lightning was just shooting in the sky, but there's no thunder. So it was really cool. And we get into Reisterstown, we pull into the house, and we get to the house, and then we just start, decompressing. My daughter's doing her stuff, whatever. My wife's decompressing, and we start hearing some thunder. The lightning continues, and then the rain just hits at about 10:30. And it kept going on for a while, and then it stopped, and then it started up again at 12:30. So that was kind of cool. The next day, we were going to have a 4th of July thing at my uncle's house since everybody was going to be in town. So it started at 11 o'clock and be fluid whenever people can come and go because people were leaving to go get trains and airplanes and stuff like that. And so we go. I had to take Noelle up to camp again. So we left at 9:30. We had to pick up one of her coworkers who we were supposed to leave at 9:45 with them. They didn't get ready and done till 10 o'clock. It takes an hour to get up there. I hit every single slow person on the road that slowed me the fuck down. And it's been happening like all weekend. And I was always behind the slowest people trying to get ahead because I'm on time crunches here and there. So we get up to the place. I drop my daughter off. head back down again, hoping to get ahead of people again, get stuck behind, all kinds of stuff, trucks, kids learning how to drive, old people, just people who take the speed limit, and I'm trying to blow past them and go like 10, 15 over so I can get my ass in gear and get to this party. So eventually we head to the house, and we leave at 12:30, get there about 12:45. All the food is pretty much all gone. Most people have already started to leave. They were just there for a little bit. So we barely did anything except talked a little bit and ate some stuff, and then we ended up leaving about 3:00. So it was just, again, kind of blah kind of thing. And then it was just a worn out weekend, and I was depressed because I didn't do all the stuff I wanted to. I wanted to watch a whole bunch of movies, but of my own issues, I didn't. Instead, I ended up just watching one that I'd never seen before, which was Deadpool 2, which was actually really good. Actually, I liked it. Everyone would say how bad it was. I actually enjoyed it a lot. So, and then that shitty thing that happened yesterday, which I'm not going to talk about today anyway, just made me feel even worse. And then finally today, I finally got to a point where, okay, tomorrow's my Friday. Just got to get through that. So let's see, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, like 7 hours from now. Hold on a second. 12, 11, in about, that's not right. Hold on. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it'd be 12 o'clock. 12 hours would be 8:45 a.m. So 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 7. So 19 hours from now, I should be getting ready to leave for my 4-day weekend, which I'm ecstatic to have. My wife is taking off Friday, so we're going to have a 4-day weekend. My daughter, unfortunately, still is going to be up at camp through July 4th. We've got nothing really planned. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was kind of how it sort of went about. Did go to the Orioles game that Thursday as part of the wedding lead up. We went to the Orioles game that Thursday, and it was phenomenal. My son had gotten me this home run chain thing that they were wearing when they were hitting home runs, and I never wore it to a game before. They hit 4 home runs, the Orioles did, 2 2-runners and 2 solo shots, and we had the best seats right behind the visitors' dugout, about 17 rows behind it, so we were in the lower level, and it was awesome. And had a lot of fun. I was with my dad and my stepmom and various uncles, aunts, and cousins. And it was great. We had about 12 of us at the game. It was sweet. And then the bride and the groom had their own little party in another section. And the bride and my cousin came down to see us. And it was the most fun I think I had all week was that game. Getting down there was a pain in the ass. But the game itself was great because the Orioles won it 11-2. It was a phenomenal game. It was great. I had so much fun talking to my family. And it was Pride Night also, which was awesome. But we didn't get the jersey because we got there very late because of traffic. So they'd already sold. It was like the first 25,000 people or 15,000 people got them. They were done by the time we got there. So, oh well. But that's good. Speaking of the Orioles, Gunnar Henderson, our rookie, the reigning rookie of the year, and is on a MVP charge this year, is probably going to make it to the All-Star game this year. He is at least going to be at the Home Run Derby, so he will be participating in the Home Run Derby this year. A minor league baseball team, not affiliated with the Orioles. I think it's affiliated with the Reds or the Cardinals or something like that. Has installed toilet seats in one section that actually work. So you can go, instead of having to get up in the middle of the game to go to the bathroom, you can just drop trowel right there and go to the bathroom there with a working toilet. So that's kind of funny, actually, to be honest. Inside Out 2, all the haters saying that Pixar is dying, Disney is dying, it's a piece of shit. Inside Out 2 has crossed the $1 billion mark. It is only like the 17th movie to do that, and is the first one to do it this year. So congratulations to that. Inside Out 2 did phenomenal and is still doing phenomenal. So suck it, you Disney fucking haters. Martha Jones, the character from Doctor Who, played by Freema Ageyema, set to lead a Doctor Who spinoff called the Sea Devils, where she will lead a team against the Sea Devil aliens. So that could be kind of interesting. Tasmania is hiring people to be wombat walkers. So that's kind of cool if you want to do that. It is July 2nd, so we are 12 days into summer, and it is now time to start thinking about Christmas. Red One trailer starring Chris Evans and the person I used to like called The Rock, but he's a piece of shit now, and J.K. Simmons released their first trailer. It was one of those that last year it looked like it was going to go directly to streaming, but as I've been saying in my show the last couple times here, now that 2024 does not have a lot of movie slots due to all the movies being moved to 2025 and because of the strike, stuff like that, there are plenty of openings. So lots of movies that were considering just going straight to streaming are like, you know what? There's no real competition. Let's just slot it into a movie theater, see what happens. So Red One will be debuting in a movie theater on November 15th. It is an action comedy Christmas movie where a jacked up Santa Claus played by J.K. Simmons, which is interesting because he was the voice of Klaus and probably the best Christmas movie of all time, gets kidnapped. And so The Rock, who is the head elf or whatever, ends up having to hire someone on the naughty list, played by Chris Evans, who is the world's best tracker, to track Santa Claus and save the day. They go up against Krampus and giant snowmen and stuff like that. It looks like a lot of fun, despite The Rock's presence in it. It looks like a lot of fun, looks like a great holiday slam bam action comedy that just looks amazing, and I might have to check that out. It was intriguing to me, and I probably would have caught it on streaming. I don't think I'm going to go to the movie theaters to see it, but hopefully it'll be streaming after its month in the, because it's the way it seems to be now. It's in the movie theater for a month, and then it's on video on demand. So. And I think it's MGM, so it should be on Amazon Prime if and when it does go to streaming. Excuse me. I wish I could make this the last story of the day, but I can't, so we're doing it early on here. A Christian church is selling plots of land in heaven for $100 per square foot. A pastor, who is the brains behind this, said that God himself talked to him and said, dude, it's okay to sell plots of land in heaven for $100 per square foot. And you all think I'm exaggerating that the United States is now coming to an end. These fucking lunatics are the ones who are calling all the fucking shots now. God damn it. Anniversaries. Karate Kid 3 came out 35 years ago this week. Apocalypse Now came out 1979. So 79, 89, 99, 2009, 2019, 45 years ago this week. Two major deaths last week. One, and I'm going to get there because they're both character actors, and they're both people that one you probably knew better than the other, but you would know both of them if you saw them, because they appeared in all kinds of movies. So here we go. Let's see. No, that doesn't help any. What does help is going to Wikipedia, actually, believe it or not. Okay. First up, we have character actor Bill Cobbs. Wonderful character actor. His filmography: Taking a Pelham 123, Trading Places, Silkwood, Brother from Another Planet, The Cotton Club, Color of Money, Suspect, Dominic and Eugene, Bird, The January Man, New Jack City, The Hard Way, People Under the Stairs, The Bodyguard, Demolition Man, Fatal Instinct, Hudsucker Proxy, Things Doing Never When You're Dead, Fluke, Man with a Gun, Ed, First Kid, That Thing You Do. He was Del Paxton, Sons of Bitches. If you know That Thing You Do, then you know he was fucking Del Paxton, bitch. Ghost of Mississippi, Air Bud, Paulie. He was Virgil Jenner. He's in Paulie. Paulie's great. Hope Floats, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, Random Hearts, Sunshine State, Enough, A Mighty Wind, Duck, The Derby Stallion, Night at the Museum. He played Reginald. Get Low, Night at the Museum, Battle for the Smithsonian, The Muppets, Oz the Great and Powerful, Night at the Museum, Secret Tomb. So he's in the whole trilogy there. Block Party. So just a outstanding character. As I said, fucking Del Paxton, man. But you would probably recognize him if you saw Bill Cobb. So Bill Cobb's passed away this week. And second, you probably know a little bit better, Martin Mull from Clue, Roseanne, Mr. Mom. Those are the biggest ones. He was also did the show Fernwood Tonight. My Bodyguard, Mr. Mom, Private School, Clue, Ski Patrol, Far Out Man, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jingle All the Way. And then on television, he was Fernwood Tonight, 44 episodes. He was in Roseanne for a number of seasons, 46 episodes. Did 2 episodes of the Larry Sanders Show. Was in 39 episodes of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think he was like a teacher or something like that. Did a voice in The Simpsons and in Family Guy. Was in Reno 911. 16 episodes of Danny Phantom. 6 episodes of Arrested Development. 10 episodes of American Dad. 6 episodes of 2.5 Men. 12 episodes of Till Death. Was in Psych. 19 episodes of Dads. Was in 2 episodes of Community. Was in 4 episodes of Veep, where he got an Emmy Award for or nominated for outstanding guest actor in a comedy series. NCIS Los Angeles, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He played, I think, Peralta's grandfather, if I remember correctly. So Martin Mull was another really big actor who's been in a whole bunch of stuff as well. So he passed away this week as well. So there's that. Boom, boom. All right. That was just half page, and we're 26 minutes in. This one's going to be a little while. So on top of everything else, I didn't have this written down, but I figured it's going to match up with that. People who say climate change is not real can just take a look at what's happening now. Hurricane Beryl, the second hurricane of the season, or tropical, whatever you want to call it, the season, has made history as being the first tropical storm to hit the highest point of a hurricane. It's a class 5 now. First time in the fastest amount of time and the earliest amount of time. It is on its way right now. It's going to get ready to hit some of the islands in the Caribbean. It is on a collision course with Texas that should, if things continue on this path, should hit it by the weekend. It should obviously not be a class 5 by that point, but you never know. So on top of that, Texas is also dealing with the Saharan dust, which is the winds that come blowing in from the, I guess it would be, since they're west of the Sahara. The winds that come blowing in from the west during the season blows the Saharan desert stuff across the ocean. And this is something that happened before, and the winds it just grabs on the wind, and wind carries it to Texas. So much like with the wildfires last year, where we had that smoke that just kept lingering on and on and on forever last year, this Saharan dust happens every year in Texas, and it is now in season right now. So they're dealing with the Saharan dust, so it's making it be like the smoky clouds that we had last year. Never get this peach out of my mouth. Brianna Middleton has been cast in the Neuromancer TV show on Apple TV Plus. Twisters, the next big sequel, is set to debut with a $55 to $60 million opening. I think you're going to see more than that, considering what A Quiet Place, the prequel, did. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I expect to be more than 55 to 60 million. So don't be surprised if it isn't. The Orioles are the third team in Major League Baseball history to hit 60 home runs in 1 month. Yes, we hit 60 home runs in 1 month. Also, local news: the light rail is finally going to get has gotten the green light to do the red line. The former awful governor Larry Hogan, who was okay during COVID, but is now attempting to run for a Senate space and will bring about the convicted felons stuff. But at this point, it really doesn't matter because of what happened with the Supreme Court. We're not going to talk about that right now. Anyway, he rejected it. Is now that he is no longer in power, it is getting back in steam, and that's good because that was one of the things why I hated Hogan, because he turned that down, because it would be very helpful to people of Baltimore and other aspects of Maryland to help them get to work quicker and easier, not to worry about buying a car, but he didn't give a rat's ass about those people. So there it is. What the hell? Oh, physicist captures the elusive 4D ghost in the CERN particle accelerator. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I saw it was kind of a cool headline. So there it is. The Girl in the Pool trailer, Freddie Prinze Jr., Monica Potter, and Kevin Pollak. And it looks what looks like a mashup of Fatal Attraction and Rope. It looks intriguing. I don't know, again, if it's going to be one of these that I would seek out to see. But basically, it looks like it takes place in real time. Freddie Prinze Jr. is having an affair with the wife of one of his friends. And something happens. The trailer wasn't really going into specifics about that. But she ends up dying, and there's going to be a party at their pool within the next hour or so, and he doesn't know what to do, so he puts the body in a pool locker, or like one of those little trunks he has that stores stuff in it, and to try to figure out what it is, and to make sure that no one sees what happens as they prep for the party. And meanwhile, I think like his father-in-law, played by Kevin Pollak, is suspicious of him. The guy whose wife was killed or died or whatever is wondering why her last Uber account had her being delivered to this house earlier today, and she's not here right now. So there's also some a little bit of friction between Freddie and his wife Monica Potter. So people are thinking they might get divorced. So I don't know exactly what happens with that, but it's an intriguing idea. But as I said, the body is there while the party is going to be around the body. And he's got to make sure nobody goes to see it, but people are suspicious of the way he's acting, and there's other stuff going on, and there's a Fatal Attraction thing, as I said, because it looks like that maybe he might have killed her because she was saying that she wanted him to leave her wife, and she was going to leave her husband, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. So, but it looks interesting though, so I will keep you informed on that. Honey butter Lay's potato chips are a new flavor out there. Could be an interesting taste of that. A new G.I. Joe comic book is set in the Transformers universe. So it's going to be a G.I. Joe comic that focuses on G.I. Joe, but it's set in the Transformers universe, which is kind of a neat idea, actually, to be honest. And with the upcoming G.I. Joe Transformers movie that Chris Hemsworth is circling to star in, could be an interesting take on things. Ryan Coogler and Madison Tomlin are teaming up for a Vicious Circle adaptation based on the Boom comic book. Boom Studios is one of the big wigs is Philip Sablick, one of my mentors, one of the guys that trained me at Diamond, one of my friends as well. So he's kicking ass. A lot of his stuff is getting put onto movies and TV shows, stuff like that. Denis Villeneuve directed Dune and Dune 2, has set his next picture to debut on December 18th, 2026. Now, we don't know what that movie is, and I don't know if Denny knows what that movie is yet, but the Sony or whoever is running this stuff says, yeah, this is when your next movie is coming out, so you got to get it out to us. I'm sure they probably had some conversations with him to say, hey, man, what do you got coming? What do you think it is? So it could be, people are thinking could be Dune 3, but Denny has been saying that he needs to take a break from Dune because he's been doing nothing but Dune the last 2 or 3 years. So this could be just a completely different Denny Villeneuve movie. We don't know. but we won't know until probably next year when we start seeing some news about it. But it is not set to debut until December of 2026, so still a long ways away. But that's what these companies like to do. I think this is Sony actually, because their next MonsterVerse movie, the next that's set in their Godzilla universe, is not set to come out till March 26th of 2027. So that's an even longer way away. So, but they like to set these dates ahead of time, and then to say these are mine, so that if other companies say they want to put a movie on that time and they see that it's already occupied by this, they might switch it to a different time frame. So Disney does it all the time with their Marvel movies and Star Wars and some other stuff as well. So you'll probably see that a little bit more often. It's not that crazy of an idea. So we'll see about that. The Jetty trailer. Jenna Coleman returns to televised television series stuff. She plays a a police officer, so that's good. This is a stacked cast. Will Forte is joining Tina Fey, Stephen Carell, and Coleman Domingo in a remake of the Alan Alda film, The Four Seasons, but they're going to turn it into a TV series. It's a dramatic movie made in 1981 that has Vivaldi's Four Seasons as the background music. It was one of those movies that played constantly in the early days of cable when I had HBO. So I probably have seen it. To be honest, I remember aspects of it. I don't remember all of it, but I probably have seen it. So, but this cast is outstanding. And it's going to be a series and not a movie. So they'll be able to expand it a little bit. August 29th. Netflix's Chaos is set to come out. It is the Greek god, either show or movie, that has Jeff Goldblum as Zeus. I've talked about that a little bit, but is now set to debut on August 29th. We got our first look at Disney's Agatha All Along, which just basically showed some of the witches in their costumes looking in the basement or something like that. So, but that was something at least. July 18th, Cobra Kai Part 1. Of its final season is going to debut. Trailer debuted this week as well. I think I have it on here later on. No, I don't, but I'll talk about it anyway. So we got the trailer for the last Cobra Kai season. Haven't been really following it, but it looks like it's going to be now, instead of it being against Cobra Kai itself. Cobra Kai is merged with Miyagi-Do, and they're now one big team. They're going to take on the international people who are being trained by the main bad guy from the first few seasons of it. So we'll see what happens there. Now, this is intriguing. I think I mentioned this last week when they just announced who was going to be in it. And then we didn't see anything till the trailer came out last week. Robert Zemeckis' next film is here. It's going to star Tom Hanks and Jen A. Where are you, Jen A? Robin Wright. That's right, Robin Wright. Set to debut in movie theaters again. I was not aware this was a movie coming to movie theaters, but they slotted it in there. It's set to debut on 11/15, same day as Red One. And it's definitely Zemeckis back on his game. He's been kind of off his game for a little bit. And it's a really interesting premise. Here is going to take place in one location for the whole movie, but it also spans 100,000 years. So we're going to see the location back when dinosaurs were around. So we're going to see the dinosaurs tromping there, but it's going to be a static camera shot of this location. And you're going to see the dinosaurs come through, and you're going to see the meteor crash, and you're going to see the snow come in. You're going to see the humans evolving, and then you're going to see the change of the seasons. And you're going to see the revolutionary people coming in and building the location. The Civil War people living there, and they're all going to be played by like variations of Tom Hanks and Robin Wright's characters. And then you're going to fast forward to the 1960s, 70s, I guess, with a de-aged Tom Hanks and Robin Wright as they fall in love and decide that they're going to and it's again in the static shot of the room. And it's all going to take place in this thing. And you're going to see them grow old. So it goes from when they are DH to their young teenage years to when they get really, really old and they're going to die. Paul Bettany's in it as well. It's a return to form for Robert Zemeckis, I think. I think it's actually going to do very well. I think it needs to move its date because it's coming out the week before Gladiator 2 and Wicked, which Wicked has been moved to the 22nd from the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which does put it head-to-head against Gladiator 2, which is going to be another one. We're going to have those two movies face-to-face on 11/22, and 11/15 you're going to have Here and Red 1 going face-to-face. So you're going to have to blink here. And I don't know why. I don't know what actually is coming out on Thanksgiving that's making them so scared not to do it. So they're going to have to figure out something, because I think, if they want to make some money on this stuff, I don't think they can release these both at the same time. But it looks really good though. And again, Zemeckis back on his form, a different idea, and I think it's really cool. My girl, Sarah Michelle Gellar, has been cast in the Dexter prequel. She will be playing not a recurring role. Well, it's kind of recurring. She's labeled as a special guest star, and she'll be playing the CSI chief in Miami, who is kind of like the antagonist of Dexter, who is going to be a CSI guy, but she's going to be trying to solve the murders that Dexter's committing, sort of thing. So it's good to see her in there as well, which is great. So it's going to see her back on a big time show like that. So that's good. Deadpool and Wolverine had a new teaser that came out this week, and it showed the Sabretooth from the 2000 X-Men movie popping up as one of the cameos. So we got that coming up. Skincare, we saw a trailer for Elizabeth Banks' movie, which also reteams her with Nathan Fillion. That's like the third or fourth time they've worked together. And it's a kind of a thriller about a woman who is big into skincare stuff, and she gets hacked in her computer, and someone tries to ruin her life, and she's got to try to figure out who did it. Ridley Scott is going to be directing the first movie from the Cirque du Soleil movie and TV studio, which I did not know existed and don't know what that even means. But I guess we'll find out. But Ridley Scott is involved with it, so we'll see what that's all about. The DCU announced this week that the Green Lantern series that they've been talking about has officially been greenlit and is going to be 8 episodes, which means that they're going to start working on the pre-production of that, getting the casting done, which means we're probably going to see Green Lantern, probably not next year, but probably 2026 probably, but we'll probably start hearing lots more about it over the next year or so. So that's good. Again, because it's summer, we got a ton of anniversaries. Bachelor Party, 40 years ago this week. That's early Tom Hanks. Cannonball Run 2, 1984, 40 years ago also. So in my story I told last week, it had to have been the Cannonball Run over Raiders of the Lost Ark. So that works. Ted debuted 12 years ago last week. Coming to America debuted 36 years ago last week. Ratatouille debuted 17 years ago last week. St. Elmo's Fire debuted 39 years ago last week. The Patriot debuted 24 years ago. The Perfect Storm debuted 24 years ago this week. Deaths this week also included Kinky Friedman, country musician, passed away this week. Marty Pavic, a hockey player, he passed away this week. And Orlando Cepeda, a basketball player, died this week as well. The Clear Cut trailer, Alec Baldwin, who is slowly turning into a B-movie Bruce Willis type, where used to be a big star, but now he's starring in what looks like Drek. His new movie came out here. Cold Water, Andrew Lincoln from Walking Dead has set his next TV show, which is going to be filming in Britain, obviously, called Cold Water. Sony's live-action Street Fighter is coming March 20th, 2026. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The wonderful Emma Myers from Wednesday, who I know her second uncle, something like that, second cousin, something. It's guy I used to work with and room with at Boston Comic-Con. It was a friend of mine, Chris Myers. His cousin's child is Emma Myers. So she's got her own new series on Netflix. Trailer came out, is due out August 1st. I think it's based on a book, I believe, to be honest. 1,000 Boy Kisses film adaptation has been set up at Netflix also. And the director of Perks of a something, Wild Heart, Perks of whatever, Steven Chbosky will be directing it. Marvel Studios will be returning to San Diego Comic-Con this year, which is brilliant. San Diego's in a couple weeks, which is brilliant, which means we're going to see first stuff about Fantastic Four, Captain America. We'll probably get the trailer for Captain America, probably. Fantastic Four, maybe some Thunderbolts news and some, updates on certain things. So we'll see what happens, see if they're going to do something about the Blade stuff that's going on. The trailer for Batman Cape Crusader, the new animated series on Amazon, debuted. It actually looks pretty decent. Debuting August 1st, so that might be another good one to check out. Flight Risk trailer, Mel Gibson returns to direct. Mark Wahlberg, two people I could give a shit about in a movie I could give a shit about or a rat's ass about, but I had to let you know. I didn't write this down because I don't remember it, but maybe I'll bring it up next week. I don't know. But Mel Gibson's also supposed to star in a movie that was not originally set to come out this year, but again is now going to be slated to come out later this year due to all this stuff. The Baby Reindeer creator, which is a big deal on HBO, gets a new deal for his new series, Lions. Trailer for The Duel with Dylan Sprouse, again, one I could care less about, popped up as well. Rosario Dawson has joined the animated Terminator Netflix show coming out at the end of August. A new Van Helsing TV series that debut on CBS in the fall. Continental Split trailer, another trailer. It's going to be like a disaster film sort of thing. It was released earlier. Gene Smart is taking over for Sigourney Weaver as a voice on the Watchmen animated film. The Kevin Feige says live action Fantastic Four is a period piece and is not set in the MCU, which probably is going to have an ending with them causing an incursion, which is going to help cause Secret Wars, which is going to cause them to enter into the MCU. So that's probably how this is going to go with that. The Union trailer. Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry team up. I think Wahlberg is like Halle Berry is like his old love interest from high school, and she knows she can manipulate him, so they team up for something. Francesca Gardner and Mark Micklid are the executive producer and showrunner, respectively, of the new Harry Potter series on Max, or as on HBO now, I should say. The Rama 1/2 anime, there's going to be a brand new one coming out, so kind of an updated version of Rama 1/2 will be coming out here soon. The Chiefs, because of the whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing, are getting their own Hallmark movie, but is not going to be a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing. Instead, it's supposed to be but it's going to have the name brand of the Chiefs, so that's why that's the Chiefs. Is going to have a Chiefs worker fall in love with someone, a Chiefs fan, blah, blah, blah. You know how it is. Universal is having their Dark Universe land, which is going to have all the Universal monsters in it. Danny Elfman has been tapped to do the music for the land, which is great because Danny Elfman is absolutely perfect for that. In kind of a truly disgusting flavor, Cherry Slurpee Twinkies are a new thing. I don't know if you could just probably call it cherry Twinkies and not have to add the Slurpee to it unless you're going to add some sort of chill effect to it. Queso flavored Fritos twist. I've only known of one Frito twist, and now we have a second one. Snickers Milky Way pudding and pie filling are new things also. They sound pretty good, and these all sound fantastic. These are not going to probably be out until next year, but new flavors of soda. Mug root beer float Pepsi float, and Mountain Dew float, which to me feels like you're going to sort of have a mix of a vanilla ice cream sort of flavor with your Mountain Dew, Pepsi, and mug root beer, which the mug root beer one's probably going to be fantastic because root beer and ice cream go like that. Pepsi could be a pretty decent one as well. Not sure about the Mountain Dew one, but we're going to have 3 float flavors we're going to probably be looking at next year. So keep an eye out on that. It's got to be better than this crappy peach stuff I'm drinking right now. Ugh, I'm never going to get that peach out of my mouth. Death, Shifty Shell Shock, Crazy Town frontman dies at the age of 49. Taki Matsui, a One Piece Inuyasha voiceover star, died at the age of 56. And Spencer Milligan, lead of Land of the Lost star, died at the age of 86. Anniversaries. Days of Thunder, Top Gun with race cars came out 34 years ago this week. The Thing, the John Carpenter classic, came out 82. So 42 years ago. One of my favorite movies of all time, The Rocketeer, debuted in 1991. So 91, 2001, 2011, 2021, 33 years ago. 28 days later, actually, I don't have a date for that, but that came out, I guess, 20 some years ago, whatever, something like that. Purple Rain came out. The movie came out 40 years ago this week. Full Metal Jacket came out 37 years ago this week. And I'll talk a little about this movie. Continental Drift came out 43 years ago. Let's talk about Continental Drift real quick. This is a movie that a lot of people don't know a lick about, but it gave us potential, what we might get from John Belushi. See, John Belushi was getting to that point in his career when this movie rolled along that he was getting tired of playing the Blutos and the Blues Brothers and the dirty, loud, obnoxious sort of character. He wanted to expand his acting abilities. And that's brilliant. Absolutely, that's what he wanted to do. So he signed on for this romantic, I guess, comedy drama. One of these that came out in 81, as I said. So it was one of those, again, just like 4 seasons, which when cable first came out and my family got it, we got HBO. It was one of those movies that had to fill the time. So it showed up all the freaking time. And I'm 100% sure I watched that one as well. But Belushi playing a romantic lead in a comedy drama sort of thing. I learned more about this movie doing research for this. He was on the path to being clean when he made this movie. He did not drink or do drugs or do anything. He focused entirely on this film and did a hell of a performance from what I remember. And it was showing a sign that, okay, you're getting yourself clean. You realize you have a problem. You need to nip it in the bud. And everyone who talked to him, who was involved with the movie, who made the movie, who co-starred with him in the movie, said John was 100% professional, was not drunk, was not high, was on time, and was fantastic. And then about a year later, he fell off the wagon and passed away. Canal Divide. It's a movie I think about every once in a while. So it's intriguing for that. Got 2 more full pages here. So, all right. Eddie Murphy, his Axel F. Beverly Hills Cop 4, set to debut on Netflix tomorrow, Wednesday, July 3rd, and I will be watching it this weekend. Hopefully, whenever I do my next regular show, I'll do a review of that, but I'm not going to promise anything until I actually sit down and watch it. Eddie Murphy, while doing press for Axel F., mentioned that Shrek 5 and a Donkey spinoff are in the works right now, and that he's involved with both of those. So that's wonderful. Nosferatu, the Robert Eggers remake of the 1929 F.W. Murnau film, debuted its first trailer. It is very creepy. and they justifiably kept Nosferatu's appearance out of the trailer. So that's kind of cool. For those who give a rat's ass, the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup after the Edmonton Oilers made a dramatic comeback from 3-0 down and won 3 straight games to force a Game 7. They couldn't hold on and win it. One of the weirdest ideas, David Fincher is developing a Squid Game remake. Squid Game Season 2 is set to debut in December of this year. And the first season is still fairly successful. Why would you make a movie about it? It just came out like 2 years ago. I don't know. David Fincher's starting to fall apart now, man. You know, he used to be, on the zeitgeist, and now it's sort of like, okay. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are officially reteaming for Freaky Friday 2. It has already started production. They had pictures to start off production, and then Lindsay Lohan talked about coming back to Disney Studios and the good feeling she's had from it, and she's very excited to see where this goes. That's good to see that with Lindsay Lohan. She had a period of time there where she was fucked up, and she got herself clean and straight. She's married, has a kid now, has been doing these Netflix like holiday films, the Christmas one, the St. Patrick's Day one, and now she's reteaming with Jamie Lee Curtis, who still has loved her since through thick and thin since they worked together. And it's good to see them back together, so that's good. The One Piece live action series casts the next set of villains. David Dastmalchian, Jazine Jocelyn, Coronis Johnson, and Donald Booker are set to play the new villains in the One Piece Season 2, which I thought had already started production, but no, they started production this week, actually today, or July 1st, I should say. So they started production on that. I was going to mention, but since it happened, I will mention this week, Sandman Season 2 released a bunch of new casting as well, but we'll talk about that on next week's show since it just came out today, and I'm not dealing with today's stuff today, which is weird, but here we are. The Heretic trailers, different side of Hugh Grant is playing a psychopathic religious guy in this sort of horror film from A24. So that's interesting. Alfonso Cuarón, who everybody says was the best director of Harry Potter, and in my opinion, he was one of the worst directors of Harry Potter movies, is doing a show, a series for Apple TV, set debut October 11th with Cate Blanchett and Kevin Kline called Disclaimer. So that's coming up here soon. Saving Bikini Bottom, the newest SpongeBob movie, is set to debut on Netflix on August 2nd. Benedict Cumberbatch has announced that he is returning as Doctor Strange in Avengers 5, which is set to start filming early next year. I mean, they're getting back in shape now. Thunderbolts has wrapped production. Captain America, Brave New World has also wrapped production as well. Their reshoots, so that's done. So they're moving right along now. They just got to get this Blade thing worked out, and then we'll start learning more about this stuff in San Diego. The hell is that? I have no idea what this is. Astronauts are stranded in the new Boeing Starliner, so they're trying to get them. They're busy orbiting the Earth right now. They're going to try to figure out how they're going to save them. Pokemon lands a 24/7 streaming channel, a network, I should say. M&M's is getting prepped for the fall, as I am. I am all ready for fall, and I have to announce this news because it's fall news. And I have to say to myself, what took it so freaking long? M&M's will be having a milk chocolate pumpkin pie spice flavored M&M coming out in the fall. I think I might have to try those. It just gives me warm feelings in here of autumn is still 2 months away, but it's coming soon, hopefully. NFL training camp for the Ravens starts on July 21st. So it's about, 20 days from now. So 19 days from now. So that's good. Possible lava flow was spotted on Mars by the Curiosity rover, which is really kind of cool. Ryan Gosling is set to do a zombie comedy called I Used to Eat Brains, Now I Eat Kale for his production company. New Weapon X skin in Fortnite, which just debuted today, actually, and I just bought it. Begonia is Yorgos Lanthimos' new film, set debut November 7th, 2025. Jesus, he keeps releasing films every year. And this one also is going to star Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. So he's their new crew. So that's coming out 11/7/25. Find Me Falling trailer, Harry Connick Jr. rom-com for Netflix, set debut July 19th. He's like a former musician, star, whatever, that goes back to an old spot and falls in love with an old flame sort of thing. Joseph Fiennes and Natasha McElhone are set to star in the new Young Sherlock Holmes series from Guy Ritchie, based on the Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law Sherlock Holmes movies. So it's interesting casting. Washington, D.C. woman discovers that she bought a vase at a thrift store for $3.99 and discovers that it's actually a 2,000-year-old Mayan artifact. We hear those stories a lot more often than you'd like to. Did Cam spot Colossal Squad? I have no idea what that says, so I'm just going to mark that as being done. Death this week. Sika, the father of Roman Reigns, WWE Hall of Famer, died at the age of 79. Anniversaries. The Muppet movie debuted in 1977. No, I'm sorry, 1979, which makes that 45 years ago. The Notebook debuted 20 years ago this week. Sleepless in Seattle debuted 31 years ago this week. For Your Eyes Only debuted 43 years ago this week. Another 81 one, Jesus. Blade Runner debuted 42 years ago this week. That was 82. Alien debuted 45 years ago this week. The Lion King debuted 30 years ago this week. Yes, that Lion King. Twilight Zone the movie, which has a whole history we're not going to talk about, debuted 41 years ago this week. 1408, a great horror film with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, debuted 17 years ago, based on a Stephen King novel. Short story. And Honey, I Shrunk the Kids debuted 35 years ago this week. Finally, my final page here. A Quiet Place Day One broke the box office this week with $98.5 million take, which is a really good, probably the second best opening this summer, which leads me to believe that I think the projections for Twisters, which comes out in 2 weeks, is a little off. I think you're going to see closer to this number probably than the 55 to 60 million that people are projecting for Twisters. You've got the I want to say Glenn Portman, but it's not Glenn Portman. God damn it. He's my new favorite actor. Glenn Powell, yes. Glenn Powell's in it, so he's kind of a hot stuff. He's kind of a big thing now. And it's a sequel to Twister, so I think this 55 to 60 million projection is way off. I think you're going to see it, as I said, closer to this 98.5 million that Quiet Place did. A bunch of trailers debuted on Monday, including 1992 trailer, which was Ray Liotta's last film. Kite Man, Hell Yeah, the spinoff of the Harley Quinn animated series, in a hilarious animated trailer. The second trailer for M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, which is a better idea of what you're going to expect and looks pretty good. It's also been moved up to, in some cases, August 2nd, in some cases, Wednesday, July 31st. So we'll see how that all works out. Bando, Stone, and the New World trailer is Donald Glover's new film, which actually looks really cool. It's about a musician who I guess was kind of did a Rip Van Winkle sort of thing, and he wakes up and it's like a deserted area, like in Hawaii or whatever, and discovers there are creatures and weird things going on. He's got to survive through it. Now, this is interesting. I'm actually okay with this, and a lot of people aren't, but I'm kind of good with it. So we've heard that they're going to be doing first off, they're trying to raise money for a new Hellboy movie. After David Harbour's flopped, and now Ron Perlman's too old to play him a third time. But they want to keep Hellboy in the zeitgeist a little bit. So they went to a lesser production company, Ketchup, and Mike Mignola helped co-write the script and adaptation of his Crooked Man storyline, which was a 4-issue miniseries, and got all new actors, no one real famous in it. And they made the film, and it's set to be released sometime. It's going to be released sometime because a trailer was released this week. And honestly, I think it looks pretty good. A lot of people think that it looks like a low-budget Hellboy movie. It does. It also gives more aspects to the horror aspect of Hellboy, but the Hellboy they got looks the part. I thought David Harbour was a little off. This one kind of gets the Perlman look to it, but he also has more of that comic book look to it, so I kind of like that as well. So I enjoyed that. I think it's a good look at stuff. Another independent film trailer that came out this week is Lumina, which is an alien abduction film about a guy who meets this new woman and falls madly in love with her, and they decide to have a party at his house and invite a bunch of friends, including the guy's ex-girlfriend, who is still kind of mad at him with dumping her and stuff like that. Then his new girlfriend gets abducted, and the guy wants to save his new girlfriend, so he convinces his friends to come help him try to find her. So they go to travel to Area 51, it looks like. So we'll see what happens with that. So it looks pretty good. Paramount Plus is set to hike their streaming prices in August. Not too surprising there. Pokemon Go announced that Dynamo, the electric fish, is going to be having his own community day, July 21st. A Jimmy Buffett Jurassic World action figure is set to debut here soon. Nobody 2 is in the works. This is going to be my last one right here. Jaws at 50, which is next year. A documentary about the making of Jaws is in the works right now to debut next year for the 50th anniversary of Jaws. My Hero Academia, one of the most popular manga and anime of all time, is closing up shop after 5 chapters. The saga will be done. Virginia Gardner joins Grace Caroline Comer in the Breed remake. Okay. Rare Harry Potter trading card fetches $40,000 at auction. The first look at the Superman costume and Mr. Terrific came out this week. Mr. Terrific looks like Mr. Terrific, but I hate Mr. Terrific, so who knows? And the Superman costume, still not a fan of it, but we'll see. But we're going to see a whole lot more. Nathan Fillion has supposedly come in to do his Guy Gardner shtick, so we're going to see probably pictures from that soon. Hawkgirl is popping in there as well, so we're going to start probably seeing these costumes here very soon as well. Claire Danes also was offered the role of Mrs. Voorhees in the Friday the 13th remake, or rather TV series. She declined it, as did, I believe, Charlize Theron was the other one who was offered that as well. Johnny Puffy, which is an animated film, Giant Puffy Secret Agent, something like that, is a animated trailer with Johnny Depp voicing a puffin that looks like him. Maryland is now the 3rd happiest state in America, according to Wallet Hub. You can see that. Fluffy anteater, a new species, was discovered this week as well. One Piece on Ice is coming. And Ruffles Korean style sweet and spicy chicken potato chips is set to debut here soon. Dynamax and Gigantamax moves, which are only in the Pokemon video games, may be coming to Pokemon Go by the end of the year. So we'll see if that all happens. That would forward you the last story of the week. A death, Tameo Perry, Pirates of the Caribbean actor, was found dead at 49 after a shark attack. Robert Towne, the writer of Chinatown, passed away today, actually, right before I did this show. So I figured I'd mention him as well. And Matthew Schulte, a Star Wars game designer, passed away this week as well. Anniversaries, I think I talked about this one, but it's one of my favorite movies. Batman, the Danny Elfman, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson movie, came out 35 years ago this week, or last week, I should say. Logan's Run debuted in 1976. That's 48 years ago. Oh, okay. Spaceballs debuted 37 years ago this week. So the final story for today is Hooters honey chicken wings are now available in the freezer aisle. So you can get your Hooters chicken wings at the freezer. So I don't know if I'm going to do this yet, but episode 561 may be me ranting about the garbage that has happened this week and last week in our government. If I decide that I don't want to do that, that would be on July 4th. If not, it'll just be a regular episode of Dylan Knows. I know for a fact I'll be talking about stuff that happened today, like the new Sandman casting. Let's see. The new date for Now You See Me, some anniversaries, trailer. I'm going to talk about a Black Cat video game, Kevin Bacon in a new show. Sam Raimi has some news. Mel Gibson's new movie. First look at Gladiator. I talked about that already, though, so there's some really good pictures there. Other anniversaries. Jonathan Frakes' new role. Poker Face. Hugh Jackman's new movie. Mountain Dew fireworks. More, as I said, more trailers. A sad death. A weird flavor of cereal. So this is all stuff we're going to take a look at here. So we'll see what happens. So it's either going to be, if I decide to do my rant about the government, it will be part of two episodes. One I will do on July 4th and one I'll do on July 6th or 7th, depending on how things are going, which will be my normal show. So I'll be doing my normal show as is, but it might either be episode 562 or 561 if I decide not to do my rant about the government. So we'll find out. We'll see how I feel in a couple days. Thanks for watching. I got an hour before I have to get my kid to bed, and then bed to myself, and then not with myself. I got my wife in bed with me, and then work, and then off for 4 days. All right, guys. If I don't see you before then, have a good Independence Day. Could be your last, but we're not going to go into that right now. And just enjoy the weekend and stay cool. All right. What was that? What was the last thing I was going to say here? Give me 1 second here. There's one more thing I wanted to. Stay fresh, cheese bags. That's what it was. Stay fresh, cheese bags.